Hey everybody, Dread Joker here, and today we're going to be looking at one of my older master grades that is still getting produced today, just not as much, and it saddens me. This is the Stryker Gundam IWSP. This is a bit of a weird one because this is the original Stryker that was produced way back in, I want to say, 2005. So this master grade is already severely dated. The only reason I would highly recommend picking this up is, number one, if you're a huge Stryker buff like I am, and if you were looking to get the IWSP, which is only included in 2 kits. You have this version that I have, and the Stryker Gundam IWSP from, I want to say, Astray's MSV catalog, or at any rate, it was the Stryker Gundam that was halfway between Stryker Noir and Stryker Gundam. That's the only difference. This is just a straight-up recolor of the original Stryker Gundam that was produced. And to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, so if anybody knows otherwise, please correct me on this. This was the first master grade to feature a full inner frame, to my knowledge. I'm gonna say it's wrong, because I believe I've encountered other kits that have inner frames before this. But let's get into this. You might notice that its color scheme is different. The IWSP removed the traditional Gundam blue it had in place of a severely deep navy blue, borderline dark gray and black. This has pretty nasty issues, at least my copy does. Then again, I like to fiddle with my stuff. For colors, you got the deep navy, almost like the camera's picking this up as gray, but not the inner frame gray, which does peek through, and it's decent. You got a really good bend forward on the shoulder. You got very good upwards for an original master, for one of the original master grades. Double jointed elbow, which does fantastic, without the backpack, of course. You have a full unrestricted 360. These flappy bits up here can open. This is for attaching the sword/launcher package, which I really sincerely wish I could get my hands on that, because I want to do a perfect strike with the IWSP so bad, which is why I'm a little infuriated that they have never made any other Stryker packs for the perfect grades. Why? Why aren't you making more packs? I am aware that the perfect strike, perfect grade, is finally coming, and I'm just going to say what we're all thinking. It's about freaking time. What took you 15 years, Bandai? Because by the time it comes out, it will have been over 15 years. What was the delay? You showed off the backpacks at a press conference years ago after the perfect grade came out. Then you decided to put it in the manual. And then, just teasing us even more, you put it in the Stryker Rouge's manual. Are you freaking sadistic? Moving on. It has an opening cockpit. However, getting it open is a bit like trying to get someone to go on a date with you. It's not pleasant. I'm going at this, and you know what? It's going to be knife to meet this guy. Getting it open, still not easy, and I'm using a pocket knife. Also, for the longest time, this was the only tool I had to work with, so that was fun, reinventing the English language. You can see the pilot figure in there of, I really can't say who this is. It ain't Kira, but it probably is Kira. And that's the only time I will ever open this cockpit because, oh, sure, now the tab wants to let go. And it all slides back together somewhat. It goes up, it goes in, it slides. It's a Stryker. We've all seen the Stryker. We know what the Stryker does. We know that it's awesome. If anybody tries to argue that, I will just refer you to Gundam Seed of a montage of Kira kicking everybody's ass and then crying about it later. This kit does have some pretty bad issues, at least mine does. This ankle armor, I have glued this stuff down like 10 times, and it still flies off. Articulation on this is good. It has ball-jointed hips, so it's a bit old style. The skirting armor is on a peg, so it can rotate. The armor schneiders are in here. They are folded up. I don't feel like getting them out. They are not that amusing. The knees, very loose, at least on my copy. That's what I can say. Very loose is something I'm going to describe with everything on this. And this particular version does not include an action base or a flight base. It includes an action stand, much like you would see with the high-grade Elf Bullock, the Narrative Gundam, the Master Grade Wing Zero Custom. The list just goes on. They've reused this base a lot. It's fine. It just doesn't look right to me. When you're moving the thigh, it will bring the armor apart like this. That's a nice little gimmick. I wish they would have used this a little more, but at the same time, I think this contributed to some of the flaws. The feet. The feet on this thing. A little big. A little long in the front. I don't mind having long feet in the front. The problem is the joint. It bends way too easy. There is not enough friction here. I'm going to have to disassemble this foot, pry this part off, tighten it up, and then pray that it goes back together. Or I just leave this in the box like I've been doing for the last few months. Because, and don't get me wrong, I love this thing. The remaster exists, and I like the remaster, and I can put the old-style hands on it if I so desire. I like the swappable fingers to an extent. They don't work out in everything, because that's just more parts for me to lose. For accessories, this thing is packing quite a bit. So, for starters, and just so I can keep this guy standing, we're going to bring in the action stand, which does have its own dedicated flight. And he was trying to fall forward there. I swear to God, Kira, or whoever you are in there, if you go to the pub one more time while you're on duty, you're going out of an airlock. So, I don't know why this is, but you're going to take the stand here, you're going to attach this connector to it, and then you're going to jam the whole thing right up his butt. Because I don't know what it is with everybody doing this. I get that Astro Boy or the Mighty Atom did it way back in the day. I believe we are beyond the point of the rectal recharge. You could have put the power transfer cables anywhere. No, you picked his butt. Cool. So for his accessories, we get a very big piece of cutlery that was never seen in the anime, but it was featured on this and the Perfect Grade. This is the Grand Slam. It's alright. It's not my first choice of equipment. It can fold, it clicks, it has this nice thing. The Perfect Grade is so much better. It's the size of a freaking kitchen knife. Get the camera looking up a little bit. And tilt it over. Now the strike can look up towards the light because it's going to be going into it if it tries to fall on me again. You can put the Grand Slam in his hand. There's nothing really to hold it here. This weapon is, frankly, too big for the strike. So it's one pose it can do. Is up over the shoulder and flop with the blade towards its head, so it's going to start shaving with a serrated edge. This is a brilliant plan. This is going to end fantastically for you. Moving right along to actual fun accessories. Let me just put the Grand Slam over here where it's never going to be used again. The Strike Gundam's traditional loadout is included. This includes, well, we've already seen the sword, so here's the board. Traditional shield, standard polycap, old style handle. And the rifle. Getting him to hold these is a bit of negotiation. And if he keeps this up, it's going to be hostile negotiation. Kira, or whoever is piloting this, hold your gun. What do you know? He can learn. To attach the shield, you're gonna need this peg and adapter section. They only give you one of these in this kit, which is stupid because they give you two shields. Or more specifically, they give you one basic shield and one epic shield. So let's get the basic shield attached. It connects pretty much basic for a strike. It just goes back here, plugs into the arm, rotates up, and yay. It's a strike with a gun and a shield. Yay. Yay. But you didn't come here to check out the Strike Gundam. You already know about the Strike Gundam. You want to know more about its backpack, because frankly, that's what the Strike was. It was Gundam backpack. And to do so, whew, I'm going to have to set the Strike Gundam aside and tilt this baby down. Because the IWSP, or Integrated Weapon Stryker Pack, is freaking massive! Here's how massive. It's bigger than my turntable. This is, and I haven't bothered detailing this thing because if you either detail this beforehand or don't bother. This was the answer to the perfect Stryker, which was far from it. This features two 9.1mm anti-ship swords, two large caliber beam guns, in other words railguns, and two sets of heavy Vulcans. These are alright. To connect this all, and this is a standard Stryker pack adapter, not any peg. It is a, well, it is a peg, but it's a weird flat peg. This is only compatible with certain kits, mainly anything that lists a Stryker pack or uses anything else like a Stryker pack. This is meaning that it can be used by certain Astray kits, the Blue Frame Type D, which I do not have. It can be used by a P Bandai kit, which is the Astray Turn Red, which is based off the Red Frame, which is based off the Red Frame Kai, which is based off the Blue Frame, which is, oh my god, they love basing these things off themselves. Connecting this is really simple. You tilt the camera up. You lock it in place. You turn it a little bit. You bring the IWSP up, you split the cannons. Why? If you don't, you're gonna have a bad day. You split the cannons and bring them up. Then, you grab the whole unit, you bring him forward, you watch out for the swords, and you slide it forward, making sure not to break his freaking head off. The Ale unit had this problem as well. You have to go under the V-fin, which, holy crap, there is not a lot of clearance here. And this thing is so heavy that it is pulling the ball joint in the hips straight back. So now he is perpetually going to be leaning backwards, which is why I'm glad they give us the base, because there is absolutely no chance. Snowball's chance in Hades this thing will actually stand. It's not going to. It will never stand with this backpack on. Now giving it the shield it was meant to have for this configuration. Because, and if you don't break the armor panels off, you let go. You drop the shield, you take the peg from it, and make sure the shield stays together so you don't take the shield apart in the process. Then you grab this big mamma jamma. This is the combined shield. It's half shield, half Gatling gun, half sword. I know that equals 1.5. This is Gundam Seed. Numbers don't make sense. Kira doesn't make sense. I'm a pacifist. but I'm the most heavily armed pacifist ever. Or we can talk about the greatest waifu, Lacus, who I call her Lacus, free keys to the super weapons, Klein. Because if she likes you, she'll give you something powered by a nuke. No. There goes the beam boomerang thingamajigger. Getting this thing to hold its weaponry is not fun because everything on this kit is extremely loose. The beam boomerang, you know what, since it fell off anywhere, we're going to start here. You take the beam boomerang off this thing, because this is like the single worst mounting mechanism on it. Then you take this beam effect part, and you can mount it one of two ways. You can mount it forward, so it makes this, again, actual boomerang. Or you can take it apart, turn it around, and mount it. Well, actually, no, it only goes one way. Okay, never mind. You can only mount it one way. I thought this was one of those ones where you could turn it around. Apparently, I should pay more attention when I'm doing my stuff. It can hold this, barely. It holds this in the same regard it holds, I don't know, a piece of paper. It's very floppy, it's very loose, it's not going to last long, it doesn't look good. The main reason you buy this thing is for the backpack. That's plain and simple. You buy it for the backpack and weaponry and you get the Master Grade as a bonus. This is the only reason I would recommend picking this kit up is if you have just purchased the Strike Rouge Remaster or the Strike Remaster. All of these parts are cross-compatible. It is a very... if you can get this at a good price, I say pick it up. If you can't get it at a good price, I say wait a while. And if you can get this thing at a ridiculous discount, why haven't you picked it up? My one complaint, and the entire community agrees with me on this, Bandai, where's our perfect grade where is our master grade Skygrasper? We already got the perfect grade, which is essentially a master grade just blown up, so why can't you, I don't know, scale down? You do it for the real grades, why can't you do it from a perfect grade to a master grade? Is it that hard? So, I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to ask me, leave them down there in the video description. Why do I keep saying video description? Leave them down there in the comments section. I'll be happy to respond to them. Start a conversation, please. I enjoy the talks. Thank you very much for watching. See you at the next one.